What is up, everybody? It is Guy Smiley here, and welcome back to another mock review. This time we have a light gray version of the Elysium Shuttle that was featured in the last mock review. This version is obviously based on a different piece of concept art that had the Elysium Shuttle covered in graffiti, which I have replicated here with custom-made decals. And we are also going to be taking another look at this white Versamex version again in this mock review, because not only did I finish the decals on this side of the ship, which were unfinished in the last mock review, I actually added all of this stuff on top as well. All of these really cool antenna pieces, these really cool like flight instruments and stuff, to make it more accurate to the movie version rather than the concept art version that I initially based the ship on. So moving right into a close-up shot of this mock on a nice clean background, because this mock, it really is about the details. It's about the decals that I was able to make for this mock, because these decals look really, really awesome. I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I wasn't really sure how they would look right when I started making them, because if you guys did see the mock review, I was unsure if the clear decal paper would actually work for this. I didn't know if I needed to have white decal paper because that would allow the color to come through a little bit more. But the clear decal paper actually was the way to go with this, because as you can see here, it really makes it look like it was actually painted on by like somebody, just like at night, like an actual gangster just came in and painted this on, because the paint wouldn't be that thick, it wouldn't be that vibrant, it's just like spray paint on there, so the color of the ship would actually be able to come through, as you see here, and I think that looks really, really awesome. The ship does have a fully detailed cockpit, just like the white version had. You do have to take these off to access it, and it does fit a minifigure in there. As you can see, there is some really cool detailing inside there. There is a really cool joystick to drive the ship. There's a nice dials in there. There's some dials on the back as well. And the minifigure just sits right down in there like so. And then you can put this piece back on right here. And this one back here. And then you have the minifigure driver inside. I really love the detailing I was able to get on the pylons here with this, using this LEGO whip piece here as a wiring that goes back into the back of the pylons on both sides. So it does look really cool if you take a look at it from this angle. You can see the wiring going in there. It just adds another level of realism to it, I think. Moving on to the back engines here. This was one of the areas where I made a major design change on this version compared to the white version. We now have minifigure heads here for the intakes right there, and those look really awesome. They are actually printed. The faces are just turned downwards so you can't see them. I did not have any non-printed LEGO minifigure heads that were in dark gray or in a metallic silver, but that ended up looking really good, a lot better than the previous version, I think. And then we actually have down here, we have these here, which are like the vertical Liftoff Stabilizers, and they also turn this way to provide like horizontal forces as well. There's a nice orange brick right there to make it look like they're actually like engines and they're putting out thrust right now, and that looks really cool, a lot better than the previous version as well. This orange brick here really adds a nice little piece of color on an otherwise all gray ship, other than the decals of course, and these look a lot better than the previous version. They can go all the way down like that as well, as they would be if the ship was actually taking off vertically like this. And if we take the ship off of the stand, which mentioning the stand is actually one of my favorite stands that I've made for a model so far. It's actually very stable, a lot more stable than some of my stands have been previously, but it looks really, really cool as well too. It's got some cool design on it. But the landing gear of the ship can support the entire weight of the model, and the front landing gear is actually on the pylons here, as we can see, rather than being in the middle as it was on the white version. And the back landing gear can be folded inside of the landing gear holding cells on either side, just like the white version was able to do as well, and they can come back out like that. So yeah, this is really cool. The back landing gear actually bears the majority of the weight, since it is kind of a back heavy model, but the front landing gear being able to actually support the front of the ship and being able to land on that without these falling off is actually a major design change that I made to this, and makes it a lot more accurate to the actual movie version and the version from the concept art as well. And the back of the ship does have a working loading ramp as well that is actually only 2 plates thick, and that is thanks to the use of the newer 2x2 inverted tiles. This is the first time that I've actually used those significantly in a build, and it works out really well. It allows it to be a little bit thinner, a little bit more accurate, and and a little bit more better looking, I think. And here is the upgraded Versamex version of the ship. I added all of these really cool like little antennas and stuff on the top of the ship. All of these instruments that it had up there in the movie, and then I actually added these forward-facing antennas as well that the ship had in the movie that look really awesome. A very original look. You don't see a lot of ships that actually have forward-facing antennas. I've never actually seen that before on any other ships in concept art before. And then I actually was able to complete the decals on this side of the ship as well. I was able to squeeze these in on the last sheet of decal paper that I printed out the decals for the light gray version on as well. They don't look as great as they do on the other side that we saw before. The ones on this side, they came out like a lot crisper and a lot cleaner. The printing job wasn't really good on these decals actually, and they were kind of blotchy, and the ink didn't really dry all the way, so they don't look as good. But I think that they look pretty good from a distance, as you see here. And of course, like with the graffiti, it doesn't really matter if it's like dirty or messy, or because it's graffiti. You know, it's like that's the way it is. You know, somebody just came and spray painted that on. So I think I think it works for that, and it looks really awesome. I really love the other little colors that I was able to add with the graffiti decals on this side as well. And last but not least, here is the side-by-side comparison of the two models. And this is kind of where I want to get to the moral of the story of this build and this video, is that if you guys have the means to do so, I would definitely recommend building your MOCs twice, because that's what I did with this, and I was really able to correct a lot of the stuff that was wrong with this model in this version here, just by building it twice and getting a second look at it. And you know, having the first model done, it kind of takes a little bit of the pressure off. You know, it allows you to just kind of experiment, because you can always go back to what you have here, but it allows you to kind of try new things and just do whatever you want with the second version, and probably actually make a much better design, a much more stable design, as we saw here. These, you know, the front pylons, just for an example, they fall off so easily with just a push of the finger. These ones here, they actually can bend even downward. They don't fall off as easily, and there's actually a lot of like corrections that you guys can't even see. They're actually like inside, like the pylons here, for example. I had to make them a lot more stable on this version, since I was trying to actually make the landing gear on the pylons, which is the more accurate way to do it versus having it in the center here. So yeah, that's kind of my advice to you guys, is if you have the means to, you know, you could always build it in a different color as well, because I wouldn't have enough white pieces to make two of these ships here. So that's kind of, it's kind of good that the second version that I wanted to do was in light gray. So that's what that enabled me to have enough pieces to actually make it the same MOC twice. So that's kind of a good piece of advice for you guys to apply to your own builds in your quest to improve your MOC making skills. Even just building a piece of a MOC twice. You know, the first time you might end up with this engine here, and then you know, you come back tomorrow, you build another version, and you end up with this one. And you know, this one is just a lot more stable. It's a lot more efficient. It's a lot more accurate to the concept art than this one is. Despite this one not looking bad per se, this one is just a lot better, I think, design-wise, and that's definitely something that you can do. You know, this is your first draft, and this is your second draft. And I think that is going to be it for this video, and probably it for these MOCs. I don't think you guys will be seeing them again. I think that they are 100% finished. I'll probably disassemble them, unfortunately, after this video, because I do need the pieces for other things that I'm working on. The only thing left to do is maybe to build this one digitally, and be sure to leave a comment down below if you guys would want to see instructions for this build. I would sell them maybe for like $5 each if you guys want to build this yourself. I could also include the decal sheet so that maybe you guys could make the decaled version as well. So leave a comment down below if you guys want to purchase those. Be sure to go to my Flickr and Instagram page as well if you guys want to see the actual photos of these builds close up. I was able to get some really cool photos of them. They look really good in the pictures. Be sure to leave a like on the video as well, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video.